Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Nigeria's Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, reaffirms the advancing legislative actions on the contentious tax reform bills. Operatives of Rivers State Police Command kills notorious kidnapper and cult leader responsible for the murder of several police officers and civilians. Police Service Commission approves the dismissal of 19 senior police officers. I'm Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. The Police Service Commission has approved the dismissal of 19 senior police officers, which comprised 10 assistant superintendents, 6 deputy superintendents, 2 chief superintendents, and 1 superintendent. The Commission also approved the reduction in the ranks of 19 other senior police officers, 1 assistant commissioner of police, 1 chief superintendent, 2 superintendents, 2 deputy superintendents, and 13 assistant superintendents. 2 Assistant Inspectors General of Police also received some punishments. 1, a punishment of reprimand for refusal to carry out lawful instructions, and the other, a letter of warning for negligence. The PSC spokesperson, Ikechukwu Ani, who disclosed this in a statement this Friday, said several other officers found culpable received different punishments, including severe reprimand and letter of warning. A notorious kidnapper and cult leader in Rivers State, identified as Nkem Thank-God, has been killed by operatives of the State Police Command. The 42-year-old criminal, also known as Two-Man, was responsible for a series of violent crimes, including the murder of several police officers, civilians, and a youth leader, as well as numerous kidnappings and attacks on oil infrastructure. Thank-God, who hailed from Ogbologbo in Ahwada West local government area, had been on the police's most wanted list since 2021. His criminal activities spanned across both Ahwada East and West, where he led the violent Greenlander cult group. Rivers State Police Commissioner Mustafa Mohammed confirmed that the suspect's reign of terror ended during an intelligence-led operation on Thursday, when he was attempting to kidnap another victim in Ahwada East. While Thank-God was neutralized, his gang managed to flee with injuries, and efforts are underway to apprehend them. In addition, he was known for frequent attacks on government and oil facilities. The police recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 5 magazines, and 22 rounds of live ammunition from the suspect. Magistrate Caroline Oguma of the Oredo Magisterial District has sentenced Paul Okubowa, 39, the candidate of the Young Progressives Party, YPP, in the September 21, 2024 governorship election in Edo State, to 6 months imprisonment for calling one Mrs. Blessing Aigudu a prostitute. Okubowa, the proprietor of Calvary Crown, the convicted teachers are Blessing Osarodion, 27, Egareva Egosa, 29, and Isioma Nimen, 35. The teachers were convicted for negligence and abandonment of 2 pupils in their care, leading to the injury of a 6-year-old pupil, Salma Aigudu. The offences in which the convicts were arraigned contravened sections 167 subsection 2, 412, 270, 412, and 267 of the criminal laws of Edo 2022. Now, tragedy struck late Thursday night as a fatal motor accident claimed the lives of 5 people in the General Gas area of Akobo, Ibadan, Oyo State. The accident, which occurred between 11 p.m. and midnight, took place directly opposite the NNPCL filling station in the area. Reports indicate that the collision involved a commercial Nissan Micra carrying 5 passengers and a long truck. The identities of the driver and the passengers involved in the crash are yet to be confirmed. Details surrounding the circumstances of the incident remain unclear as of the time of this report. Further updates are expected. And in Abuja, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has reaffirmed the Senate's commitment to advancing legislative actions on the contentious tax reform bills, emphasizing their importance to Nigeria's progress. Presiding over plenary on Thursday, Akpabio explained that the committee, led by Senator Abba Moro, established to interface with the Attorney General of the Federation on the contentious aspects of the bills, is part of the Senate's internal mechanisms. Recall that Senator Barao, who presided over the session on Wednesday, was reported to have said that the Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Musa, APC Niger East, will put on hold further action on the bills while announcing the formation of a special committee led by Senator Moro to engage with the AGF on the concerns raised. Meanwhile, efforts to confirm whether the scheduled meeting between the Senate committee and the AGF took place were unsuccessful. The Coalition of Northern Groups, CNG, has kicked against an alleged move by the federal government to grant the establishment of a French military base in Nigeria. This is coming on the heels of reports of a bilateral agreement signed between Nigeria and France, granting her unrestricted access to the nation's huge mineral resources. Reacting to the development, the national coordinator of CNG, Comrade Jamilu Aliu Charanchi, at a press conference this Friday in Abuja, noted that since the inception of the present administration, Nigeria has witnessed open and behind-the-scenes diplomatic level of officialdom with a misleading intention to surrender the sovereignty of the country to France, a move which he says the coalition would not allow.
With all these calamitous catalogues of French imperial meddlesomeness in Africa, it beggars belief that our country, Nigeria, which has a rich and proud record of championing the cause of the black people anywhere in the world and an undisputed leader of the African people, could suddenly stop so low as to be ordered around in a manner reminiscent of the abhorrent and detestable behavior of conquered people. We refuse to accept and hereby wish to definitely reaffirm that having so sufficiently equipped ourselves with the armory of the above stated indisputable historical fact, and in the light of the yet another abhorrent reality prevalent, especially in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi, where the rich mineral resources of these two great African nations are pitilessly plundered by France in particular, it is our very firm resolve and implacable determination to use all constitutional and democratic means to militantly resist any attempt by this government to invite France or any other foreign power in order to establish a military base in any part of our beloved country.
He recalled that France spearheaded the stiff resistance of some powerful Western nations against the imminent takeoff of the West African common currency and equally carried out a number of atrocities against other African countries. The group therefore called on the National Assembly to stand firm and united in defense of Nigeria's sovereignty and the freedom of Nigerians.
We hardly need to restate that currently not less than 5 former French-speaking colonies from the West African sub-region made up of Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Senegal and Chad have all wisely taken the bold and courageous sovereign decision to expel France and revoke the Inquitos agreement granting it permission to establish a expeditionary military base in their respective countries. Many years of colonial control and systematic pillage of their natural and human resources have left these countries with no other alternative than to throw away the shackles being imposed on them by France. It is therefore explicable that with all these happenings right at our doorsteps, that this government totally oblivious of this palpable reality opted to plunge its doors wide open to plant its morbid romance to our horrors, which inevitably seems to now culminate in the ill-advised sleeping with the enemy. We would like to reassure ourselves that our dear President is very intimately aware of the raging issue of insecurity, ravaging particularly the northern part of our dear country, which is mostly being characterized by armed banditry, insurgency, kidnapping, inter-ethnic and communal clashes, and youth restiveness, and thus cannot afford to initiate any unwise policy or undertake any action that by any stretch of imagination will undermine the ongoing collective effort by our military and security forces to restore peace and stability in our dear fatherland.
Recall that the Nigerian government had earlier in May 2024 said that it has no plans to host foreign military bases within its borders. Information Minister Mohammed Idris had described as false alarms the suspicion among observers that the government was considering approving military bases for the US and France following their ejection from neighboring Niger. The Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha, has reinstated government's commitment to transforming workplace safety by bringing together stakeholders to cultivate a safety-first mindset and develop a resilient safety culture across industries. Onyejocha stated this at the first ever Summit on Occupational Safety and Health Summit on Tuesday, signaling a landmark step in addressing workplace safety and health challenges in the country. Clevy News' Imifunokon was there and now tells us more.
While stressing the connection between mental health and productivity, as well as advocating for supportive work environment that prioritize employees' well-being, the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha, said the two-day summit with the theme National Occupational Safety and Health Management System will provide an opportunity to build a comprehensive, sustainable, and inclusive national occupational safety. Commending Nigeria's ratification of International Labour Organization conventions, which aims at enhancing safety and health standards, the ILO country director, Vanessa Falla, said more than 3 million workers die each year due to occupational accidents and diseases, with more than 395 million non-fatal work accidents.
A supportive work environment fosters mental health, purpose, and stability. However, we are committed to changing the narrative by bringing together diverse stakeholders to promote the adoption of a safety-first mindset and encourage the development of a resilient safety and health culture in organizations and industries.
Or from 2015, we can see an increase of 5%. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm just quoting the numbers, but these are not just numbers. These are human beings. And I'm very happy that we now have those frameworks, those conventions, providing a comprehensive framework of how countries can begin to address and strengthen systems of occupational safety and health, as well as to make sure that there are policies and institutions responsible to implement those policies.
The event featured exhibitions, technical discussions, and paper presentations from safety experts.
To the employers, you are the architects of opportunity, and your commitment to equipping the workforce with the necessary skills for the future is truly commendable. By prioritizing sustainability and digitalization, you are not just hiring employees, you are making an investment in Nigeria's economic future and its global competitiveness.
This event is not just matching people with jobs. It is about creating opportunities for individuals to thrive a rapidly evolving economy in a world armed with green and digital skills that are so highly valued in today's world.
With high rates of unemployment and underemployment, equipping young Nigerians with digital skills is vital, not only to crack new economic opportunities, but also to reduce dependence on the traditional extractive industries.
The theme of this year's fair, empowering Nigerian workforce with green and digital skills, takes on profound significance. This theme is not just a call to action, it is a roadmap for the future of work in Nigeria.
Highlights of the event includes the unveiling of Nigeria's profile on Occupational Safety and Health 2024, new regulations for construction safety, and a national emergency preparedness guide. The summit is expected to provide actionable commitment from organizations and stakeholders that will address emerging occupational safety and health challenges in line with the International Labour Organization's agenda for decent work and workplace safety. Imefon Okon, reporting for Clever News.
A Chinese popular saying says, "Make your friends through tea." To this end, the cultural counselor and director of the China Cultural Center in Nigeria, Yani Zhangxing, says the culture of tea drinking can bring about prosperity and development between China and Nigeria, as well as foster peace and harmony around the world. Yani Zhangxing made the assertion at the first ever Chinese tea ceremony in Abuja, the nation's capital.
With a tea history of about 4,000 years, China is widely known as the hometown of tea. The tea ceremony is a tradition that symbolizes respect, harmony, and hospitality. It has evolved over time, taking on different styles and forms depending on the region and purpose. The Chinese tea ceremony is about tea drinking, nurturing body and soul, purifying the mind, as well as learning Chinese culture and manners. History was made as the first ever Chinese tea ceremony in Nigeria was held on Tuesday in Abuja. The event brought together diplomats, senators, and high-end businessmen for a unique cultural experience. In his opening remarks, the culture counselor and director of the China Cultural Center in Abuja, Yang Zhangqing, said Chinese culture of tea ceremony in Nigeria will no doubt promote mutual relationships.
I hope that China Culture Center in Nigeria can become a center of friendship between China and Nigeria. There is a saying in Chinese culture that making friends through tea. I hope that through this event, everyone can feel the respect and the care for each other.
The executive director, Tourism Volunteers Network, Phil Robert, said the Way of Tea Chinese tea ceremony is not only a tea drinking event, but also an opportunity to learn and understand the traditional Chinese culture while looking at the health aspect of tea and its business potential.
And I noticed that a lot of times when you go to places where people drink tea in Abuja, you see a lot of big cars being parked. And you've been wondering, is it tea these people just come to drink? So if they can gather and park such cars to drink tea, then that means there is real business that we can do. And looking at the health benefits in tea, when I went to China and I learned more about tea, and I found out that some of this tea was even used during the time of COVID. In time of COVID, a lot of people used white tea to see how they can cure themselves. There are some herbal teas that can cure cancer and a couple of all these ailments. Even in Nigeria, to break it down, agbo, people take agbo when there's malaria and all that. So we'll try to see how we can make this more prominent and help people to understand more about what we're doing with tea and the tea culture. And also to help people know that this thing you are always drinking can also be a major source of income.
The First Lady of Kwara State, Olufolake Abdurazak, who also graced the occasion, expressed optimism that the Chinese tea ceremony will provide an avenue to facilitate business networking between Chinese, Nigeria, and Africa entrepreneurs.
Today's event also stands to further bolster the Nigeria-China relationship, particularly in the areas of tourism and cultural exchange. Beyond the pleasures of savoring the beautiful aroma, the pleasant taste and richness of tea, we should seize this moment to explore sustainable relationships, particularly as this event also serves as the unveiling of the Africa-China Tourism Expo. Today's unveiling, it is my belief, would foster cross-cultural understanding between Nigeria and China while promoting economic growth and supporting initiatives to boost tourism and trade.
Tea ceremonies in China are a reflection of one's personality and aesthetic. Chinese tea ceremony also requires peace and purity and a call for authenticity. Imefon Okon, reporting for Clever News.
And if you're just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview News Desk. We will be back after this break. Stay with us.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State.
The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
You're welcome back. Gospel music has been around for centuries, with some of the most well-known and iconic performers in the industry starting out in gospel. However, in recent years, there has been a surge of gospel artists making the switch to secular music. In this special report, Clearview News' Imifono Kon, who spoke with some gospel musicians, reports that they are of the opinion that gospel music is a calling, and the reason why people switch to the secular is that they do not know the essence of their calling. The report.
Gospel music has been around for many years. It is music that is written and performed to express religious or spiritual ideas and emotions. However, there are many gospel artists who are now changing to secular music. Some gospel artists who spoke with Clearview News crew said music is a calling, and it is only people who do not know the essence of the calling that migrate easily to the secular music.
Sunansa Yesu wanda ya fidukan sunaye Sunansa Yesu wanda ya fidukan sunaye.
Like I said, one of the things that have kept me all the years, my first album came out in 1998 and it was a success. It's about 30 years now. So one of the things that have kept me is the belief that I have in the call of God, and that this thing I am doing, even if it doesn't give me physical benefit as expected, physical benefit now is relative. To another person, if he doesn't see me with a very big jeep, I'm not blessed yet. So for me, I believe that aside the physical benefit, there is eternal value. That God have used you as an instrument to reach out to somebody, for me, is a blessing. The Bible says when we seek Him and His righteousness, all other things would fall in place.
Kai kadai, Ubangiji kai kadai ka isa yabo. Allah mun gode maka yau. Ubangiji kai kadai ka isa yabo.
This song was recorded in 2003. You see, it depends on the motives that you came into the church with. Some people have the motive of, I want to blow, I want to make it now. Because they've seen other people, driving big cars, and again, they are gospel musicians, they are pastors, they want to become like the other person. They have forgotten the real essence of what brought them to the church.
A gospel song is a calling. If you're called to do it, there's nothing that will take you out of it. You'll be focused and you continue, no matter the circumstances, no matter the challenges, you'll be focused. Nothing will take you back. Knowing what you want to achieve, if you're actually called to sing or minister through songs, there's nothing that will make you go out of God's way. You cannot go out of God's way and start doing that of the conventional. You'll be focused to do that, knowing that, yes, it's a service I'm doing unto God.
There has been a recent trend in gospel music artists transiting to secular music. While some believe this to be a sign of the times, others feel that it's compromising the values of the gospel genre.
So I think one of the challenges we have in the music ministry today is that we are not, our eyes have not been open to understand the essence of our callings. And then we begin to have fault in the church, and then that fault we have begin to distract us. So for me, I've been focused, and the Lord has been providing for me. It might not be an explosive provision, but He has been there over the years. The church didn't call you. It is God that called you. it is an honorable thing to be used of God as an instrument to be a music minister.
They have a heart of money, and that is why they come to the church. And when they are not getting such kind of encouragement from the church, they leave the church. And again, sometimes some of them are not encouraged by members. Sometimes they see you as one who is a money monger, or in some of our churches, let me be frank with you, in some of our churches, they see some of these musicians as people who don't have job. The advice I have for young boys and young girls, for young people who are coming into music, is they should know why they are coming into music. They should know, is it this God that they want to serve, or it is mammon that they want to serve?
Like I said, if you are called to do it, you don't have to look at anybody to do it. Knowing that, yes, the person I'm doing it for is not human being, I'm doing it unto God. So all you need, and who you need to look unto, is God. You don't look at the church, you don't look at your pastor, the congregation, or waiting for the church to encourage you to do that. No. You just hold on to God, be focused, and continue to do that service.
Nigeria currently is in a critical state, and the best way to save this nation is to get God's attention, because He is the only answer to all our challenges. Observers say the best way to get God's attention for a speedy answer is through exclusive worship. Imefonokon, reporting for Clever News.
And that's the news. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has reaffirmed the Senate's commitment to advancing legislative actions on the contentious tax reform bills, emphasizing their importance to Nigeria's progress. A notorious kidnapper and cult leader in Rivers State, identified as Nkem Thangod, has been killed by operatives of the State Police Command. The Police Service Commission has approved the dismissal of 19 senior police officers, which comprised 10 assistant superintendents, 6 deputy superintendents, 2 chief superintendents, and 1 superintendent. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Have a wonderful weekend.